It's Matt. We're back with another episode of MPTV, and this is part 2 of Matt Plapp and Shawn Walchef, Cali BBQ Media. Shawn flew into town to our HQ here at America's Best Restaurants to talk about 2 topics. Part 1, which hopefully you watched, was about podcasting for your small business. Part 2 is about video storytelling on your mobile device. It's how to use this device to tell the story of you, your business, your team, to impact your sales and your brand. Let's check it out. Okay, so before we introduce ourselves, I ask you a question. And it's ironic because I didn't know that Shawn had this on his Instagram, and I use it as an example. Tim, if I told you that I dunked on Michael Jordan, your response?
Bullshit.
If I showed you a picture that I dunked on Michael Jordan?
I'd be impressed.
If I showed you a video, you'd believe it.
Yes.
Well, I didn't dunk on Michael Jordan, but it's kind of funny that I go to Shawn's Instagram, and that started off, I'm guessing at some point it goes into there. It's got the United Center Michael Jordan. So it's not a coincidence. So I'll let Shawn introduce himself to start off. Shawn, who are you?
My name's Shawn Walchef, owner of Cali BBQ Media. We are a barbecue brand and a media brand out of San Diego. We've done over $30 million in sales as a barbecue restaurant, but we opened in a really shitty location in 2008 at the height of the economic recession. And because of that bad location, the best thing that ever happened to us is that we failed doing every type of marketing, every type of branding, and we found this thing called the internet and the smartphone and all the apps. So we started doing things differently than other restaurants. Because other restaurants had a great location, they didn't do what we've done. And because of what we've done over the last 14 years, we built a media side of our business. We have 2 video podcasts, one called Digital Hospitality, another one called Restaurant Influencers. Restaurant Influencers is with Entrepreneur Magazine and Yelp. So Entrepreneur Magazine, every single week, we just published a video on Restaurant Influencers with Aiton Barnath. He's a 19-year-old social media sensation that just came out with a cookbook recipe, but he has over 7 million social media followers. Restaurant Influencers is a great project because Toast, Tim is from Toast, one of the representatives. Toast is our primary technology partner in our restaurant. When we signed with Toast during the pandemic, we needed to upgrade our point of sale system. We needed to upgrade our online ordering. And when I was meeting with the sales reps, I was telling them we're a barbecue media company. I get laughed at every time. I still get laughed at today. You probably thought I was crazy when I said I was a barbecue media company. I am crazy. But we're loud and we're crazy, but we're also understanding that there's this new world that's coming. There's social media, and then there's the stuff that we're going to talk about today, which is the competitive advantage that you as a business owner can have once you start sharing your story and start sharing the things that happen in your business. So for us, we switch from a legacy point of sale system to Toast, which is our new technology point of sale partner. I tell the sales reps, we're a barbecue media company. We're going to create content about the hardware, the software, all the products, the things that they're helping us do as a restaurant to be a digital first restaurant. I get laughed at by the sales reps. They go, okay, yeah, people promise us stuff all the time. Right when we get our hardware, I have me, my general manager, and we make a video for YouTube, an unboxing video. I have a son, he's 4 years old. I have a daughter, she's 2 years old. We unbox stuff. He watches 2 kids that make $20 million a year on YouTube unboxing toys. There is a creator economy that's happening on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram. We all know what those are, influencers. Well, business influencers, we're getting to the place where businesses have influences. The things that you spend money on in your business, you pick them for a reason, but nobody's documenting that. So if you start taking out your smartphone out of your pocket, your iPhone or your Android, and you start to document it, you go, well, who gives a shit? My customers don't care about the technology that I use in my business. But what about the company that is the tech company? Because that tech company needs social media content. They need customer testimonials. And now you're telling the consumer a different side of your business. So with us, we posted this video,
Right here?
put it on LinkedIn. That's our TikTok, 4,000 views. Not a lot of views. That one's on YouTube. But yeah, we put it on all the different platforms. We podcast about it. We blogged about it. We put it everywhere. Once that video was posted, it was shared. Were you at the company at the time, Tim? So it was shared internally on Slack. 3 days later, Chris Comparato, their CEO, brought it up in their all hands meeting. So thousands of employees on the call showing this video, because this video encompasses why this company exists. This company exists to help restaurants succeed. There's companies that you do business with that they have a story, but no one's told their story. And no one's told it the way that you can tell it. And that's what me and Matt are here to do, to talk about today. So we're really excited. I don't want to spend all day talking about us. We want to talk about you. So the more that you ask questions and give us examples, the more that we can really help your business. So let's fire it up. Let's get after it.
And my background is 1999. I bought a book from SNS Web Solutions. A guy named Glenn Warner had it up down the street here on 18. And I think now it's like a Mexican grocery store. And it was on how to create a website for a business. And I put it in perspective. I used to make fun of my wife and call her the email girl in college, because if at Cartmel Unit Hall and Morehead State University, if I couldn't find her, she was in this thing called the email lab. And I'm like, this is stupid, just call them. Well, like 2 years later, I'm the digital marketing maven in the late 90s, and she's making fun of me for it. But that's how my background got started in the web. We created a boat dealership. I also worked in radio. And by 2003, 2004, I had become, on accident, really good at digital marketing before social media existed. And the story I like to tell, and it's ironic because Tim's here, is that Steve Kane, a friend of mine who used to retire now, had Steve Kane's All Vacuum Center off Buttermilk Pike. We worked with him as a client. I have a marketing company locally that we had at a big point. Now we're a nationwide restaurant company. But when we had Driven Media and Steve was a client of ours, everything you bought marketing-wise was paid. It was radio, it was TV, it was direct mail. So I would sit down and analyze how to spend the money correctly, how to make the creative, the call to action, where's the traffic going. The only thing we did that was kind of free was his son Logan came up one Black Friday and stood on the road with a sign that said, "My business sucks," and it was a Black Friday vacuum deal. And you look now, everybody's got one of these devices, I'm going to assume, and there's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn. I mean, there's Snapchat, Yelp. What's the one the other day? A buddy of mine told me I was sleeping on the Reddit. There's all sorts of places that cost absolutely nothing to reach people. But here's the problem, and I'm going to show you an example in a second on the screen here of why video storytelling is important. And we'll sit down, and the goal is to head-roll engage and kind of see the examples. But I want to show you this example because it's pretty telling. Because one of my sales guys said it correctly to a client the other day. He said, when you post an ad on Facebook, Facebook doesn't show it. You know why? Because they want you to pay for it. And so if you post something that doesn't suck, that's not an ad, they'll show it. So we've all heard of Papa John's, right? And so they've got a lot of followers. They've got 6.5 million followers. This post they made May 7th has 15 shares, 14 comments, 67 reactions. So it's got 100 people out of 6.6 million. Probably a good chance that's 100 moms of the guy whose sons own franchises. But if I switch that and I look at Basilio's, a restaurant we work with up in Fairboot, Minnesota. Connie and Tom own it. It's a one location, kind of like Grandma's Pizza down here in Florence, like, was it Camporello that's down by you in Bern? Is that what it's called? Camproso. So if I go to their Facebook page and I look at some of their stuff, let's find a post here that asks for engagements. Mother's Day. Who the hell doesn't love Mother's Day? 93 reactions, 66 comments, 6 shares. So how is it that a company that has 4,600 fans, is it 46, I believe, somewhere in here, 4,600 fans, kick the shit out of a brand that has 6.6 million, 6.5. It's because they use the medium correctly and they storytell. Some of the posts that Connie and them posted a while back that I gave them props for, where they had a hockey team coming through town. And hockey's big up in Minnesota. And the restaurant was closed, but they wanted to come by for Basilio. So they opened the restaurant and they did a video on it. It wasn't about selling pizza. It wasn't about a special. It was, here's the hockey team. They just won a game. They're coming through town. We opened it. They shows them walking in. A week later, they had Valentine's, and they had a guy and his fiance he had just proposed to with a heart-shaped pizza behind him, but him with the ring and her getting engaged. She told the story of one of their employees and their plights during the pandemic, because the restaurants had it pretty tough during the pandemic, so they told that. So The reason I tell you that is that they're not posting ads on Facebook. They're posting content. So like this is that video that Shawn talked about, is unboxing their point of sale. Well, most restaurants, most businesses, wouldn't market something like that. They would think their consumers don't care. Consumers care. When the pandemic hit, and I tasked Tom and a couple of our team members to look at our restaurants that were doing really good and restaurants that were doing really bad in the summer of 2020, it wasn't stats that I thought I would like, oh, they got this many emails in their database, they have this many text messages, they have this, they have this. The restaurants that were doing good were the ones that people related with. It was Brian Picard of Fatty Smokehouse, who every week, a year before the pandemic, would go live and go, Fatty Nation, what's up? It's Brian. Let's talk about what's going on in the community. It put a name with the face. It put a face with the restaurant. And I was reflecting on this. I was driving up 42, I live in Union. I was driving up 42 one day about 6 months into the pandemic, and I was looking at the Taco Bell, the McDonald's, all these brands, the Dunkin' Donuts, and I thought, I have not been to one of those since the pandemic hit. And I started to wonder why. And the reason is because the places I was giving my money to were, I know Michael Castleman of Rapid Fired Pizza. I know the Hiles from Barleycorns. I know the Grimes from Colonial Cottage. My money was going where I had a connection with a person. And that's one of the biggest problems. I'll pick on you. I don't know if it's online, maybe it is. You have the most badass story in the history of businesses with your daughter starting Allie's Walkabout. I told Scott was saying about, right? Like, he probably thought I was lying. Like, probably thought I was making it up, but maybe I embellished a little bit of the story I haven't heard. Yeah.
No.
But it's a badass story, and people relate with that. And so today I want to talk about ways you can use this to storytell. And there's a lot of examples, but I like to tie in things, certain reasons. The reasons I wore my Pop-Tart socks today is I've done videos with these where I'll be sitting somewhere and I'll have a video of it. And my goal is not to talk about marketing all the time, but I'll have a video of it and I'll come up and say, by the way, do you toast your Pop-Tarts, yes or no? Do you like pineapple on pizza, yes or no? Drums or flats? And one of them I put was Brussels sprouts, yes or no? And next thing you know, like 80 people are commenting. But I put a post up that says, I'm the best fucking restaurant marketer in the world. And my mom's like, hell yeah. Because nobody else gives a shit. And so storytelling is the key to it. You're in the physical fitness business. I remember a gym that I'm a member of about 5 years ago. This lady, Tracy, walked up. I used to be a partner in it. I'm not anymore. And she walked up and she had this tear in her eye. And I'm like, oh man, she's going to cancel her membership because there's something financial. And I'm like, I was always the one that had to deal with that. And I said, what's up? She's like, I just want to let you know I got back from the doctor. I no longer have diabetes.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was like, Jesus, seriously? I'm like, I didn't know that could happen. She's like, yeah. She said, my doctor credited coming to this gym the last 24 months, consistently altering my nutrition. It changed my entire body. I want to thank you because now I'm healthier to play with my kids. Like, that's the stories that need to be on there, not your $49 boot camp, because that's what makes an impact. And the way I found Shawn was I've always been a proponent of marketing and a proponent of video. And I can reflect on both sides of it because back in 2015, I decided that it was just me, Ashley in the very back, and a couple part-time employees. We were going to take our company and focus from, instead of being a local marketing firm, we had Jeff Weiler, All Vacuum, Plum Tide, Aronco. We had all these businesses locally that we had a lot of success with, Quaker Steak and Hofbrauhaus, that we were going to now alter our business to go to a nationwide restaurant marketing firm. And so from 2015 to 2018, I marketed hardcore and I did video like you wouldn't believe. The problem was every video was one-dimensional. It was Matt Plapp bragging about our results, about our services, about how to buy from us. It was me, 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 me. And it didn't work. And then when I made a shift in 2018, when a friend of mine I trust, a coach I paid money to, said, shut up about you. Talk about your clients. Talk about the benefit. Talk about what you're doing. Talk about things you see, things that'll be relevant to them. And that was when I made a shift. And I'll show you this. And if you were here yesterday, I showed this yesterday. This is a company, a guy named Grant Carter down in Florida. He's private jet, helicopter, $4 billion in real estate, makes a lot of money. I remember in 2016, I'm at a conference in San Diego. And this lady got up on stage named Mari, and there's a couple other people, and they were like, we're going to tell you how not to use social media. Has anybody ever heard of Grant Cardone? If you're like, I don't know, I had heard of him. They're like, well, follow him. Watch what he's doing. He's ruining the medium. He's going to get all his people leave his channels. They're going to quit following him. His tactics are overused. Well, what his tactics were was he was literally going live like every 10 to 15 minutes all day long. And this is a guy that's a multimillionaire that his audience, like his perception, he's driving Bentleys and Rolls Royces. His friends are in high-end country clubs, and they're wondering, why are you on TikTok? Why are you on Instagram? What are you, 10? And I remember him saying one time that people were making fun of him for being on Snapchat. Like, you're not a 14-year-old girl. He didn't listen. And he told stories, and he engaged people. Well, that point is right here in 2016. This is his Google Trends. This is, show us better. This is how people were finding him. So his company in 2010 was $3.3 million in sales. His company this year, when he actually published this, was $112 million in sales. 12 years later, well, I guess 11 years later. You can see this 2016 is when he started to do everything wrong on the internet, according to Mari and other people. And look what happened. His Google Trends, people wondered who the hell this guy was. And look what followed the attention. You ever heard the term money follows attention? It does. I can tell you our company has followed the same trajectory. Our company today is this building, the wrapped vehicles out front. There's 40 plus full and part-time people instead of a couple. Money follows attention. People ask me, why do I wear orange? Because people remember it. I get literally every week somebody sends me a picture of a different orange sports car all over this country. I had a guy the other day in Kansas City. Dude, did you buy this orange Viper? I just saw it out here. I'm in Kentucky. But he assumed, because he knows I have an orange Lambo, I have orange vans, I have orange everything, that I bought this car out there and I was in front of him on the road. And actually, ironically, the week before I bought that car, and nobody knew I was buying it, I actually didn't tell anybody about it for probably 6 months because I didn't know how to bring it out and what to do with it. A buddy of mine, Jason Baker, sends me a picture of an orange Lamborghini in Florence. And he goes, you got one, didn't you? Because he knew I was looking at different sports cars. And I had not told anybody. My wife didn't even know I was buying it. And she doesn't care. She trusts me. Just like I don't know what she buys. She trusts me.
You're not married to an Eastern European.
Yeah. 26 years, there's some built-in trust. But yeah, so he texted me this picture, and I laughed. I said, how did you? I said, no, I'm in Florida. I bought it when I was in Florida on the road. Bought it over through texting a guy. And I said, ironically, I'm in Florida buying one now. Where are you at? And he was like, oh, I'm up in Kentucky. That's in front of me by Barleycorns on 42. And I'm like, that's funny. He thought of me. Why did he think of me? Because I made a decision a couple years ago to brand myself with the color orange. He knows I do stupid shit like buy Lamborghinis. And so money follows attention. So today I want to talk about how you can get attention on this device, because in 2010 with Steve Kane, it wasn't an option to get on Black Friday and talk about some of the benefits of your carpet and cleaning it correctly on these different mediums. Now it's a plethora. And I can tell you that 9 out of 10 people in this room and 9 out of 10 people you're competing against aren't doing it. So, Shawn, talk about the mediums, talk about some tactics. And by the way, if you have questions, raise your hand, because our goal, like I said, I want to show a couple examples. Like I'm going to show one of Aaron today that I have up here. Our goal is to get you thinking of how you can do this for your business, because there's some of you in here that have really cool stories that people aren't hearing. And if they aren't hearing it, they're not buying from you. If they're not buying from you, they're buying from somebody else. And then 6 months later, they're like, oh shit, we just got new flooring, Aaron. I didn't know that's what you did. I thought you guys did window cleaning.
So how many of you guys have iPhones? Raise your hand. Okay, go to your iPhone and go to Photos. If you go to Photos and you scroll, actually go to your library.
Library, okay.
Scroll all the way down. And you should be able to see, hold on. No, I lost it.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for how many photos.
Oh, very bottom, 4,122, 1,329 videos. What women in here have kids?
You pull it up a little bit.
Albums?
No, go to the library and pull up all the way. No, you're not in the library.
Mine just tells me here.
Yeah, right here. That's weird. Why does yours look like that? There it is.
There it is. Yeah, so how many photos? Anybody? How many photos? 6,900?
16,000?
20,000 photos? How many videos?
2,882.
Anybody?
I
13,000 photos?
And then 1,100 videos.
1,100 video. Anyone have more than 1,100 videos? David? How many? How many do you have?
2,882.
Okay. I have 64,000 photos. I have 10,000
Back up
videos.
with Google. Google iCloud.
I have an iPhone 13. I pay for extra storage. But like the reason why I bring it up is not to shame anyone else in the room or not to brag. It's that we have literally a media center in our pocket. And the difference between photo and video, back to what Matt was talking about with the Michael Jordan example, video is the thing that the internet wants. The internet right now rewards short form video. By short form video, I mean less than 60 seconds. The shorter, the better. And we all have the opportunity to become better video storytellers, not just with our family and our kids, but also in our business. And once you start using video to give access to the things that you as a business owner have learned over the years, back to who gives a shit? Who gives a shit about this Toast video? The amount of opportunities that I've gotten from Toast, they're literally the title sponsor of our second podcast because we're willing to do what other people are unwilling to do. Is it uncomfortable? Matt will tell you, I will tell you, going the first time in selfie mode is uncomfortable. Going the first time live is uncomfortable. Publishing content, because everybody wants to have a commercial about their business. We all want quality. And the problem is it doesn't happen like that. The only way that I get better photos of my kids and better videos of my kids, if you pull up my Instagram, the video that I did with my daughter, so that's literally me taking my kids, my wife, my son, to a Charger game, front row. This was a crazy day, 70,000 people in the stadium, bringing my kids. And for somebody that takes as much video and photo as I do, it was still hard for me to do that. But now I've captured in 15 seconds this magical moment of my daughter getting excited when the players are coming out. And I've shared that. And what I hope for you guys is that start with your family. Whatever you're comfortable with, you're already comfortable taking photos, start taking videos of your family. Start capturing micro moments because that makes you a better video storyteller. And then start to think about the things in your business that you have access to that nobody else gets to see. Like that's really what the internet wants. That's what TikTok wants. That's what Instagram Reels wants. That's what YouTube Shorts wants. When people are searching in your industry, in your business for things to learn something, you're experts in your business. You've done so much work to build your business. But what if you started showing that? What if you started documenting that? So we say be the show, not the commercial. Everybody wants to be the commercial. Yep. Everyone wants to have the best video possible that has thousands of views, hundreds of thousands of views. Don't even look at the views and don't look at the engagement. Think of the video storytelling as a craft, that today I'm going to do video. Tomorrow I'm going to post a different video. And don't just take the video, post it. Because you'll be shocked once you start posting video on your personal Facebook page, people are going to talk shit and go, what's your problem?
Well, I was made fun of at our gym by a couple people when I would walk in. Oh, I thought you'd be live today. And I used to crack up. I mean, a couple of my friends would stick up because I was always kind of humble about it. But I used to always laugh. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Have fun.
But I mean, if it wasn't for video, literally I would not be here. If I didn't see the work that America's Best Restaurants was doing, what Matt was doing, and we already do digital marketing in our restaurant, but we don't do it at the scale that they do. And once you start putting out content, your truth about your business on the internet, you're going to find other people globally that feel the same way that you do. We've all been to business meetings, and I was super impressed this morning with the BNI meeting. Like that, there's energy in that room because I stopped going to chamber meetings in San Diego because I literally felt like I was going to become a fax machine if I stayed there. Like I couldn't do it. I'm like, I can't do this. So that's why all my meetings are on Clubhouse or on podcasts or on Instagram Live or on TikTok Live, like, because that's a digital community of people that feel the same way that you do about your business. Like if you're fired up about your business, shouldn't you be with other people, like-minded people that feel the same way about your industry or your business? Because if not, then what are you doing? So and like I find people like him and his team And it gets me more fired up to go back to San Diego and to go help recruit more restaurants to sign up to do what I'm doing for my restaurant. Because I want restaurant owners to win. I know how hard it is. I have 11,000 videos on my phone, but I can't do it for my podcast, for my restaurant, for myself. I need help. So I'm deploying his entire team.
Yep. So the concept of it, do you have a question?
I do.
Yep.
And I feel like it might, I don't know. Okay,
Break the internet?
maybe, or my brain. Do you have a plan of attack? Like, do you try to post, like,
Yeah, schedule, content
a
calendar.
schedule? Like, okay, I want to do 3 personal videos a day, and then I want to do something that's more business mind. Like, do you have, because if you can't tell, I
Yeah.
have like a million things going on, and then while I'm doing, I'm a handy man, and
Wouldn't it be a handy
I
woman?
have to.
That's your business?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So when I'm working, I have to work, and
Yep.
I cannot, like, once I get working, I can't, like, stop. Oh, this would be a really cool video. I think of it before it happens, and then I work, and I'm like, crap, it's done, and I should have taken a video. Like, how do you organize that, and how do you know how often to? I've been good at social media in other ways, but in this, I am a photographer for 12 years, so that was very simple to do. Like, do some behind the scenes and then show your photos. Boom. But for this, I like to show progress, but at the same time, I'm like, I just don't know how to go about it. So if you have like,
So I'm going to give you the
information
answer.
on technical
I'm going to give you the
stuff.
answer of the internet. Yeah, the answer to the internet, which I shared yesterday, is quantity plus speed plus consistency equals quality. And the thing that holds everybody up is we want quality first.
Yep.
The only way to get to quality is through quantity, speed, actually publishing that stuff, and then doing it consistently, day over day, and not overthinking it. Because the problem, I talk to business owners all the time, restaurant owners, I talk to big tech companies, their marketing departments, their social departments, trying to figure out why is the internet so hard, and why is social media so hard? Because it is, there's so many different platforms. I mean, the amount of platforms that he just mentioned, and you're like, well, how am I supposed to do all that? You're supposed to start with short form video. And literally, if you guys all started on TikTok, you have the biggest competitive advantage because TikTok is the place for organic growth. And TikTok is built for short form video. Everyone is trying to catch up to TikTok. It feels weird, and that's why I love recommending TikTok, is because it's going to make you uncomfortable. It's going to make you uncomfortable to be on TikTok.
Like, when people do something, like, how did you do that? Like,
You don't need to worry about that. You have everything that you need right there, and you have a
I do, like, cool stuff out
So-
there.
Well, don't worry about the cool stuff. Just worry about what's happening in the moment.
You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
You'll learn it over time.
Like every single person, if you go to Matt's Facebook page, if you go to his company Facebook, all the videos are shitty in the beginning. My podcast was terrible when I first started. My videos, my photos, all of it. Like if I go back through I love my son. He's 4 years old. He's turning 5. I love my daughter. Like all my photos and my videos of my daughter are better because I've took all those photos and videos of my son. So it's all about the reps. It's all about literally the quantity and understanding that you have access to your story and no one else will tell your story. I mean, that's literally our story, is that we built this incredible barbecue restaurant in San Diego. We were in a terrible location at a terrible time. 5 years later, we finally were doing cool things in the community, raising money for charity. And I was waiting. It's like, where's the news? Where's the newspaper? Where's the writers? Nobody's coming. Literally, no one was coming to tell our story. I thought that like if I had a great product and I had great service, all these people were going to come to my restaurant. Nobody came. And we started sharing our own story. We started posting on Facebook, posting on Instagram, tweeting, doing all the things that we're talking about. And now we have reporters that follow us, producers that follow us, and they reach out to us and they say, Shawn, are you available to come to the news to do a segment? Are you available to come and do this? Are you available to come and do that? And we go, and we not only do we go to the news and feed the news and put on a barbecue segment or a podcasting segment or a media segment, but we also teach the news all the stuff that we've learned. Like that's literally the place we're in, where legacy media is trying to catch up to social media. And as a business owner, you have a competitive advantage because you have a unique perspective that no one else is talking about. And it's back to, well, who cares? All you need is one person to care, and that's you.
Now, the tactical advice there for me, will you hold that?
Absolutely.
Went ahead and went live on TikTok.
There we go. Now we're talking.
Free. So the tactical advice is just like you set an alarm to get up this morning. I set an alarm to get up and to go to bed. I set an alarm when I have meetings. I set an alarm when I'm leaving for the gym. I set an alarm when I set an alarm for everything. And I have it in my schedule. You, if you want to make the decision to take over and do more social media, number one, come up with your avatar. So I would recommend, don't call yourself a handyman. You're a handy woman. That would be standout. Live that.
Well, her name's Mandy. She's Handy Mandy.
Handy Mandy. Handy Mandy, the handy lady. There you go. So I would take that, but I would figure out your avatar. Who are you talking to? Because one of the problems a lot of us have when we do video, trying to talk to everybody. Like I remember Lindsay one day at the gym, all the women there, all of them, would always talk about her butt. Like, literally, Lindsay, you have the greatest ass in the gym. Always. And I remember telling her, I said, Lindsay, do content on it. Talk about it. How did you get it? Didn't happen. Lunges, Bulgarian split squats, front squats. What's the secret? And so identify your audience. Her audience are women that have had a couple kids that are looking to get back to what they had before the kids. And so identify your audience and say, you know what, it's a 35-year-old female. She has one kid. She lives in Florence. She drives a white Chevy Suburban. She's married. She works in the accounting. I mean, get very, very, very focused. Because if you get very focused, you can talk to very specific people. When I talk, like my audience, almost all of our clients, and we have obviously some other ones, but most of them are 60-year-old men. When I talk to the likes of a 60-year-old guy that's married, that has kids, has all this different stuff, that's one of the reasons on Thursday, this afternoon at 3 o'clock, I'll do Fire with Dad. My dad's in the back. Every Thursday, most Thursdays, we do a live interview. Because I've identified that my customers, my avatar, appreciate the relationship me and my dad have. So number one, create your avatar. Get very focused. WLW, you've heard of the radio station. For a long time, Daryl Parks had a cardboard cutout in his office that Bill Cunningham, Jim Scott, Mike McConnell had to walk up before they got on the air, look at the cardboard cutout, and read the demographics and say, that's who I'm talking to today. So that's number one. Know who you're talking to. Because when you talk to somebody specific, it'll bubble out. When you try and say, hey, I'm looking for anybody that needs something done at their house, then it goes everywhere. No, I'm looking for women that just had their second kid that want to update the nurseries or want to update this. I'm looking for ladies who have a daughter that just went to college. Oh, that's my wife. Because I'm going to guess you're going to make that room into something else. So you find that avatar. Number two is come up with the topics. You know, what are your topics? So one of them is going to be about your life. Like if you go to a lot of my stuff, you'll see my daughter, like I'll use her from cheerleading. You'll see my son with lacrosse. You'll see, you know, my wife involved in some stuff. She threatens me, so I don't put her on a ton. But you'll see me intertwine. I try and do like 33% family. I try to do 33% tips and tricks. And then I try to do like 33% business stuff. That's, hey, this is a call to action. Because one thing I did hear recently from somebody speaking, he said the biggest injustice you can do to people watching your content is to not give them a way to buy from you. Guy said he did a great video and the person commented, man, this is awesome. How do I spend money with you? Because I need this. And he's like, I guess I didn't say anything at the end. So have those and then make a schedule. Just like we all make schedules where we got to be, have an alarm set that, you know what, every day at 9 o'clock, 11:30, 2:30, and 6:30, I do a video. And the biggest thing I'll give you advice is don't use cameras like that and don't get complicated, because the minute you get complicated, you start editing. The minute you start editing, you start losing your mind because that's not what you do.
Well,
this right here is
kind of is what I do.
well, but you don't want to.
That's why I'm like
Perfection will screw you up.
I mean, for someone like me who my husband does help me now, but like I really don't have someone there to video while
You don't
I'm
need to.
working.
You do it.
So but I mean,
Tripod. Take a tripod. Look at this. Watch this. If Shawn wasn't here,
yeah.
Yep.
there's my worker. And then I can also go selfie mode and just talk like this.
Yeah.
But live, you know, doing things recorded, the way to kill your speed is to do, and also the other thing you talk about, perfection. Everybody wants to be perfect. My first videos, I would spend 4 hours on a 30-second video. When I realized that people didn't engage with it and that it took me too long, and when it takes you 4 hours to do a video, you're like, screw this, I'm not doing this shit. When you literally just go live like this is right now on TikTok and it starts stacking up and getting attention, who cares? And you're going to figure it out. You're going to find your voice. I was terrible at video. Maybe some people still think I am. I'm fucking great now. But I had troubles doing videos years ago because I wasn't sure of myself. I wasn't confident. I was scared of somebody thinking what I was or wasn't what I was saying. Now I just literally turn my camera on and go live. I'll take little videos here and there. I'll do live stuff, and I just let it happen. So that's the thing for you is find that avatar and then create a schedule you can live with this day, these days, and do it every day. Because you wake up every day, hopefully. Otherwise, it's a bad day. But we wake up every day. Most of us eat at least 2 meals a day. I had a friend of mine the other day go, man, I don't know how, because we travel a lot and eat a lot of food. I don't know how you're not 400 pounds. I said, because every day on my schedule, guess what's on there? Go to the gym. It's not negotiable. Last night, I had a grill out at my house. And I don't know if they're upstairs there and they're working, but 3 of the employees came over for the grill out, the sales team. And I was out jogging. They were getting there at 6. I told my wife, hey, it's 6 o'clock. I got to go for a mile sprint. I'll be back. They're going to knock on the door and let them in. And they see me run past them. I wasn't concerned they were showing up. I had to get my sprint in. It's on my schedule. It's non-negotiable. And so the same with you. It should be non-negotiable to create content and tell your story. Because there's a lot of cool stuff out there. But like Shawn said, you've got to commit to it. You got to not be perfect. You got to do a lot of it. And you got to make it fast. Because the minute you make it,
you have to publish it.
You have to publish it.
If you don't publish it, it does you can do the reps, but publishing is the fear side. It's what's going to happen. Are enough people going to watch it? Is anyone going to care? All that matters is that you hit publish on the internet. Like literally, you become a media company once you start to embrace the fact that you're doing something really cool and really unique. And literally, the more you share your story, the more business you're going to get.
I'm going to show you something on Instagram because this is just kind of looking at this. So I'll just go through a couple of these. So when I say money follows attention, I like to use a term, you want to stack attention for your business. So if I go to Shawn's Reels, and all of us are concerned sometimes with, oh, I got 1 view, I got 10 views. Who cares? Because if you do 4 videos a day for 365 days a year, and you get 1 person that you didn't have before like that video or watch it, and it stacks up. Like I'm sure for Erin's business in the flooring world, she doesn't need 10,000 people. She just needs 20 or 30 more to hit that number. I'm sure you don't need $1 billion. You need another 20 or 30 a week. Well, look at Shawn's. This is Shawn's Instagram, and Shawn's got a big following of 22,600, and I'll show you how that's relative to mine. He's got this video yesterday of him and his wife. I guess she got in my car. I could have called the cops. 1,000, 700, 7,000. Look, when you put things that people relate to in your stories, they relate to them. Him talking about stuttering in a video got 786 views. The one of his daughter got 7,200. 466. And by the way, guess who makes the decision on where people eat out most often? The wife. Guess who are more relatable to videos? I bet if I looked at the stats, that video, if you could find them, I don't know if they have stats on male, female viewership on that.
Yeah.
It's going to be more women. And they're like, oh man, this guy gives a shit. He's a good dude. I'm eating at his barbecue restaurant, not the chain down the street. And if you look through this, 658, 794, 1,300, 874, 3,600, 2,400. If you add those up, that's just a couple weeks. It's 5,000 views. And you can do that. Now you take the same exact, similar content, probably exact, and it's the same thing on TikTok, 200, 400, 300, 200. Then you go to LinkedIn, and it's on LinkedIn, 2 comments, 1 like, 2 likes, 79, and 3. What's the trend on the one that worked the best? Mila, his daughter.
How often are you posting a day? Are you?
Lots.
Yeah, I didn't know. Do you post the same thing on every social media platform?
So
or do you come up with different things to post.
Yeah, so back to what I always recommend, that's why short form video is king. That's why I'm saying TikTok. And TikTok makes everybody uncomfortable, but that's why I love recommending TikTok, is because it's literally forces you to do short form video. You can post a photo and make it a video, but that's not what TikTok wants. You have to literally do the thing that makes everybody terrified, and that's making a video for social media.
Remember the
a
Cincinnati
short
Enquirer?
form video.
Remember the newspapers? What if you opened the newspaper? If you got your newspaper back, let's go 30 years ago when people read it, and you opened up your newspaper, and it was 30 pages of ads, and the back page had an article about the 5K down the street. You wouldn't pick it up very often. That's Papa John's Facebook timeline, Instagram, all their stuff is a timeline of advertisements. Nobody wants to see that shit. So what he's talking about is a picture, same thing. TikTok wants you to use the platform how it's meant to be used.
I mean,
Like
literally,
this, like
Instagram Reels changed everything that they're doing as a business and became a video platform because of TikTok.
Yep. Yeah,
That tells you everything you need to know.
Couldn't.
So if you're taking time to make a graphic for Facebook to promote a promotion or a sale or something that you're doing, why not just make a short video and say, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. This is why I care. This is who I am. This is where I'm located. And then you'll be shocked. Go ahead.
Is there a way to, when you make these short videos, to put it on multiple platforms at the same time?
You can. I mean, there's programs that do it. Like I said, the biggest takeaway that I hope is that you do, which we're going to do today before everyone leaves. Everyone's going to do. So one of the things that we do is we teach 60 seconds. The amount of business owners that can't tell me what they do when I interview them, who are you and what do you do? Seems like an easy question, right? Matt gave a perfect example yesterday. There was a guy that kept coming to these meetings for 3 years. He had no idea that the guy sold life insurance. 3 years. This guy's been coming to meetings, meeting after meeting after meeting, telling something different. Like, who are you and what do you do? Why is it so hard? If you're selling life insurance, shouldn't we know that you sell life insurance? If I sell barbecue and I do media, shouldn't I lead that I do barbecue and media? Probably. Then maybe I'm memorable. We've all been to parties where you talk to someone, you're like, I have no idea what that guy does. I have no idea. But then you've also been to the party where one person stood out. You go, I can't believe what this person does. Can you believe this guy? He has an orange Lamborghini and he drives it right to places, to restaurants. He has his face on a huge van. He has Pop-Tart socks. Can you believe this guy? But he's memorable. You remember him, you tell his story. Now he's past telling his own story and someone else is telling his story. And that's what we're trying to teach you guys how to do. And that's what we're going to do today is we're also going to take 60 seconds and do selfie videos so you can tell us who you are. And more importantly, you can tell the camera.
So answer your question also is we have some platforms to use, but like I did a video that I'll show you here of you and Aaron last week. I shot this on my iPhone's camera roll with no intention of redoing. I commit to myself, not redoing it. And I do it on my camera roll.
One take.
So one take. So I can upload it to TikTok and Instagram separately and LinkedIn because if you share from TikTok to Instagram, Facebook has come out, or whatever they're called, Meta now, has come out and said, we will squash the traffic organically to your video that has a TikTok logo on it. Yeah. So you do not want to share from TikTok or Instagram over to, so you want to post it. So this is a video that I did, impromptu. Let's talk about video storytelling on your phone, on a camera, on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. So that's my man, Aaron Smith, buddy of mine. We do some business with him as well. He's a real estate broker, investor, all things real estate. Well, he's got a podcast and he's got some behind the scenes stuff he does as well as in the studio. And today, he's talking with Aaron about these amazing floors. What's those orange socks? And how Aaron from Mela allows to come on site and make homes a little easier to sell, a little nicer. But also, check out Aaron's box truck. Is that not the way to travel? A giant billboard. Nobody is going to tell your story for you, and nothing's going to relate with customers better than you talking about what you do. Doing the great man. So I took that video, 234 views there. It's also, I put it on TikTok, I put it on LinkedIn, I put it on YouTube Shorts. And sometimes the smart thing I should do, because I have a team of 5 that do this, I should text them the video and they'll do it. But sometimes I'm on the fly. They got jobs. I'll just pop it on there. And so I'll put that stuff up. Hell, there's your boss. There's BJ. Him and I talking. 3,100 views on that video. No money spent to it. 1,200 there. You know, no money spent on this stuff. And it's just stories. And the part that I had to get over the most was as comfortable as I am on video, like when I started, I was scared shitless. I hated how I looked, how I sounded, what the hell's on my hair? Did I need a haircut? Did I shave today? What's wrong with my shirt? Should I wear a golf shirt? I just got to a point I said, fuck it. I don't really care. And I've had videos like I was telling Aaron the video. As I was doing that video, there was a slight pause in there because I realized I was saying Aaron and Aaron. I'm like, shit, they're both named Aaron. Are they both named Aaron? Like in my head, I was like, I don't think her name's Aaron, but it is Aaron because it was, to me, kind of messed with me. But it was like, that's where there was a slight pause. But a couple things with that I'll also say within there is don't be worried about perfection. Once you do the video, just nobody's going to remember that you did a shitty video 3 days ago. Don't highlight your negative. Aaron was up here yesterday, and he said, and he's like, look, I said, Nobody heard him say, And then a minute, I said, again. And so when you're doing video, don't highlight it. I've seen people do a video, hey, what's up? It's Shawn, Cali BBQ, blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, I'm not in Texas, I'm in Kentucky. I don't know why I was housing that. Next thing you know, like 30 seconds later, they're still talking about the mistake and nobody noticed it. It's so easy to get comfortable doing it when you just realize, one, if you know who you're talking to and you have a reason. The reason I did that video, I didn't know what this, until I watched it there, I didn't realize I mentioned storytelling. The reason I did it was ideally to get people to think of storytelling and see the posts for these events and come to these events. And at the same time, realize that we help people do that. And so when you have your audience and when you have the message in there, it's not hard. But post it directly to the platform. And it doesn't matter how much you do. I'd say from a little amount, yeah, it matters if you do 1 or 2 here and there, it's not good. But if you do 50 of them, I mean, these sites are built for content. I'm sure if I got on TikTok and decided to do a TikTok every minute for the next 24 hours, they wouldn't call me and go, hey, bro, can you quit? They would probably make my stuff more important. And so that's a key element. But I mean, if you look at it, a lot of us get caught up also on views. I used to look at that. I've actually got 3 TikToks right now that are 500 in 1 week, 500,000, 300,000, and 100,000 views. And you see like, oh, hell yeah. Then the rest of them like 500. But at the same time, for me, all I need to do is make an impact and support it. But also from a business standpoint, I want when people look me up, because what happens is people look at this. They come across it once or twice. They then go here and they click this. Like, who the hell is this cat? And when they come here, it'll take them to places they can find stuff. Oh, there's his website. And they go to the website. And so that's what happens with me. I mentioned the other day, a guy named Paul was telling me he watched a few of my shorts, which led him to watching a 45-minute podcast. He never watches the podcast if those short videos aren't on TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn and YouTube Shorts, because he's not going to spend 45 minutes with my dumb ass. But when he sees what I was talking about was relevant to him and his business, hell yeah.
Go ahead.
You keep talking about perfection and not worrying about it, but from a restaurant industry, I always worry that there's like something that I don't see that then someone is going to make a huge deal about. Like, what if someone's not wearing a hairnet? They forgot to put on a hairnet. And you know how everybody wants to pick out like the most negative thing?
Yep.
So like, that's what I worry about is, you know, whenever you're in a kitchen 16 hours a day, you lose the fresh set of eyes sometimes and you forget about, you know, something being on the floor or whatever. So like, how do you not let that stuff bother you or make sure it's perfect enough? Like, I just feel like it's a really fine line.
Yeah, it's interesting because part of the biggest thing that we teach restaurants is it's easy to do social media about the customer facing side of our business. This is our sexy rack of ribs.
Right.
These are our cocktails. This is the front of the house. We literally do everything to make sure that the hostess stand, the ambiance, everything looks amazing.
Right.
The kitchen's where all the work gets done. So it's like, you know, unless you have an open kitchen, but part of what the internet wants is the story. So it's the fear. Yes, our kitchen was built in 1970. Literally, our ghost kitchens that we're opening now that are 200 square feet, they are way sexier. It's brand new equipment. It's brand new. So when I'm doing videos at our master smokehouse, it doesn't look great. But once I got over the fear of it not looking great and realizing that no one was going, like, people have a fear of sharing the recipe. Like, if I share the recipe of our ribs, someone else is going to open up a barbecue restaurant and they're going to start selling ribs and it's going to cut into my rib sales.
KY ribs, baby.
Well, good luck. Good luck doing that. And it's actually more powerful once I bring the camera in and I go live or I publish content about the rib making process, because people start to appreciate, holy shit, you say that it takes 5 hours to cook ribs, but now I see Bernice, your pitmaster, fabricating the rack of ribs, turning them into rib tips, and then you can do a time-lapse video where they're actually going into the smoker, you're putting wood into the smoker, we're bringing them out of the smoker. Like, now you see the love, now you're showing. Back to the Michael Jordan example, you're showing versus telling. And that's what video does.
What about your fears though? Because I've had that where somebody's not wearing gloves, or not have a hairnet on, there's a dirty dish rag next to the food.
Yep.
I was at First Watch in Florence about 3 months ago, and I go there probably once a week in the morning, have breakfast, and I just couldn't resist from saying this, but my server was spraying and cleaning the the bottoms of the chairs while I was eating, while I was waiting for my food, and then she walked back through the rags on Expo, grabbed my plate, walked back, and handed them to me. And I said, hey, can I point out something? I'm not trying to be a dick, and it doesn't affect me. I'm not saying anything else. Just kind of tell you something. She goes, what? I go, if I was you, I wouldn't be throwing that rag you just cleaned these tables on. I'm the only person in the restaurant on Expo.
Yeah.
I think when she heard me say that word, she knew I knew the business.
Right.
I said, on top of that, I might wash my hands before you bring my plate, because there's probably customers that would have flipped their lid on that.
Yeah.
Now imagine if that was on the video. You got a problem.
That's what I'm saying. You know, like there's certain things that, you know, if it's on video, then it can make or break your business. So then they
Well,
can
so-
zoom in and pinpoint, and that's what my anxiety does. I'm like, I would love to show my customers, you know, the new salad we're making today or whatever, but it's that fear in the back of their head that there's going to be something detrimental that I'm not seeing.
So
I'm going to chime in here real quick.
go ahead.
The lady that she had making the salad in the back of the house, widower for how long? Or widow, the lady you pointed out to me? She's,
Lady
you want to talk about a
over
story, and she refuses, she'll never buy anything from Taylor Farm from Marcotte. She refuses to buy anything pre-made. It is a literally homemade.
Yeah.
And the lady's
It's all a bunch of old ladies that do the prep.
Yeah.
Talk about a fun story.
But that, like, leaning into that side of it
Yeah.
and understanding that, like, I have to lead as the business owner with video, and I have to tell my team how important video is. I can't tell my servers and my bartenders and my general manager, hey, post on social media about our restaurant.
Right.
Why? Because that's just going to be shitty.
Right.
But I can inspire them through telling them that their story is important. Our barbecue restaurant story is important because we're teaching people all over the globe. Literally, we have barbecue restaurants, we have other restaurants, we have small businesses that reach out to us and go, you're inspiring us to start to share our own story. Because every village story matters. And the fear of posting something that isn't the way that it's supposed to be is an educational opportunity. The beautiful thing about these new platforms like TikTok, we posted a video that got 40,000 views on TikTok, and it was a bad video. I mean, it made our brisket look real shitty. And like, I was like, oh my God, I need to go talk to my new guy, Samuel, who's running our I literally hired him to do a TikTok a day and an Instagram reel a day because my bandwidth, I can't do it. But his job, literally his first job, I want a reel, an Instagram reel, and I want a TikTok video. So he started going in and filming a bunch of stuff that I hadn't seen because I haven't been at the restaurant. This brisket video got all kinds of negative comments from people that know brisket. They're from Texas. They're like, this looks like shit. You guys obviously don't smoke your brisket. I told him, go and make a response video, which you can do on TikTok, to educate, not that person, because you're not going to change their opinion, but now it's an educational opportunity. The same way on Yelp, we say, don't ignore a 1-star review. Acknowledge that 1-star review, use it as an opportunity to tell everybody else that comes to your Yelp page why you care. Because you care. Like, that's the thing, every restaurant owner, every small business owner, we care about our business. Our fear is that something's gonna go wrong on the internet and it's gonna ruin our business, and that's just not the truth.
It's the,
And if you screwed up and you get a bad review,
Yeah.
fall on your sword publicly.
oh yeah.
Publicly fall on the sword and use it as an opportunity to engage with somebody. The amount of people that I've turned into brand advocates because I was willing as a business owner to respond to that Yelp review. And now with video, it's even more powerful because I can show versus tell. Like, listen, we care. You know, we care about our business. We're sorry that we didn't have gloves in the video. You know, we're going to talk to our team and make sure the next time we do have gloves.
Here's the analogy somebody told me recently. This was a restaurant owner because it got brought up at an event. And he asked the person, he said, when you got in your car this morning to drive here, did you think about the possibility of getting a ticket? No. Think about getting a car wreck? No. Think about your car blowing up? No. He's like, then stop thinking about the other aspects. That's what it was. Is we all could analyze those and overanalyze. And I've seen videos. We've got clients. We've got 400 plus locations we help all over the country. And some of them do video, some of them don't. And I've seen it where they have a video go up and there's no hairnet. And somebody says, hey, where's the hairnet? And the owner hops on there like, shit, missed that one. I'm going to go talk to them right now. I mean, one person. I'll give you an example of what not to do, though, sometimes. A client of ours back in the day used to always say, Matt, if you step in shit, it smells worse. And a good example of that locally, you're not from Coffee Emporium, are you? And back during the pandemic, probably 4 or 5 months into it, had a person on there that had commented on one of their posts. They had a coffee at the time called Blue Line Coffee. And if you're a police officer, you can drink coffee for free. What happened to be the same week that one of the police issues happened in our country. And one person commented on a Facebook post. One commented on a Facebook post about this issue. About, hey, you guys support the police. You have coffee for free for police, and you have your Blue Line coffee you do, and you do these coffee with cops. One person, nobody else. So the next day, they did a post acknowledging all that. Well, then all of a sudden, like 100 people piled on. Like, oh, well, you give cops free coffee, screw cops. And it went there. And then the next day, they made another post trying to unexplain that. It went on for like 4 days. They eventually, from what I understand, took the owner's rights away from Facebook and Instagram because apparently he wasn't built for that stuff. I don't know. But it literally caused a shitstorm because he acknowledged it too much and because he made it a big deal. And it's one comment. We're all going to have it. I love it. When I get a negative comment on something, it's the best thing ever because it means I'm doing something right. It means I'm doing something that nobody else is doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing when you first opened up the restaurant. You didn't want to go and talk to somebody that was upset, right? You're terrified. Like, we want to make every customer, we're in the hospitality business. We want to make people happy. We want to give memorable moments. But like, we've all had to go and have that uncomfortable conversation. I need to speak to the owner. I need to speak to the manager. And what do? You only get better at responding to those. Right. Like, you're invincible.
Yeah, I'm sure
There's nothing that's happened in your restaurant that you don't feel like you can conquer. And it's the same way on the internet. We're just terrified of the internet.
I mean, watch
because
this
we
video.
think of the virality of it.
I'm sure there's 10 things somebody can comment on. But at the end of the day, this video's, I know, that's the hardest part. This had like 10,500 views. And I had a restaurant in California. So about 4 weeks ago, a restaurant, Hickory Jack's, calls us. He's like, Matt, we're hurting. Business, where's he at? He's in like near Temecula? Redlands, California. He's like, what can we do? Business hasn't rebounded how I thought it would as out of winter. And I looked at his Instagram and Facebook, all that stuff. I said, activity, take action. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, you posted like 5 things on Facebook in 30 days. Why not post 500? You posted no videos on Instagram and TikTok. Why not post 500? And so we've actually are helping him with a 60-day, what I call a reboot, where we did some training with him and said, here's how you do it, and here's how you get activity. Because at the end of the day, and I told him, I said, don't worry about perfection. Don't worry about mistakes. Don't worry about all this ancillary stuff. But we gave him some tips of highlighting an employee, highlighting a customer, we gave him a whole game plan. But if you look, you go back, this was the first video that I saw, and I'm like, dude, this is April 3rd. So he called us about the week after this. And I said, so that video got 6,900 things, and you haven't done anything like in a week. 600 views. So since then, he's posted videos, a bike riding event going by him, barbecue sandwich, doing a contest, graduations, food. And look at these, 1,500, 1,300, 900, 1,700. If you do that 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 times a day for 365 days, it's called stacking attention. The more people that see you, understand you, like you, they'll do business with you. It's like Barleycorns. The 2 weeks before Mother's Day, Barleycorns sent out 3 emails that I personally got, which I'm assuming everybody else got, for their Mother's Day brunch. That's going to an entire audience. It's a sales pitch, and it's a very small window of somebody doing business with you. We have clients that didn't do those 3 emails, but did Facebook posts like I showed you, Basilio's, comment below a picture, special memory of you and your mom. Well, now all of a sudden, instead of 2 people interacting with a Mother's Day brunch post, 50 react and comment deeply on that, and they look at their spouse and go, we ought to go there for Mother's Day. And so the more interactions you get, the more views, the more clicks, the more comments, it stacks up. I had 1 week we had over 1 million on my stuff. 1 podcast that I shot in Chicago at Cleveland at Hillcrest Foods, and 6 videos on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook stories, Instagram stories, LinkedIn, YouTube Shorts, the long form was on YouTube, an email, and a text. Over 1 million people viewed and interacted in 1 week with my little video. And if I would have maybe just done the one piece and not done the story, and the reason that it interacted well was in the video, the guy who was he started to interview me. It was my podcast, and he's an attorney for this company, and he was an attorney during the recession in '08 for home builders when the shit hit the fan. And he knew the situation. He knew when our boat dealership closed, the stress we had of having $7 million in loans. And he turned the tables on me and asked me some questions and got me crying and got me emotional. And that's why that podcast blew up, because it was the real me. And I looked at him and I was like, you jackass. I'm like, nobody's ever asked me those questions. And the only reason he knew him because he was an attorney and he knew the struggles businesses went through in there, because there wasn't PPP and idle loans back then. It was GM and Ford got bailed out. Screw everybody else. And he knew that, and so he asked some questions. But the rawness of that interview is what worked. And my audience, I've had clients call me since then. They saw it. I didn't know about your background, man. They're more relatable now. They see that I know their struggle. But more than anything, it was the short clips from that became the story. I could have been on there in front of a camera going, I'm Matt Plapp, and this happened to me 2008 in the recession, and you should buy advertising from our company for your restaurant because I know what you're going through. Wouldn't have worked. But at the same time, you got to get rid of perfection and get rid of the worries of what people are going to say or do. That was one of the reasons. I had a friend of mine, we actually, ironically, I bought the car because I wanted to use it in marketing. And I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, I know it's there. It's a good idea. It'll work. And for 6 months, you couldn't, if you didn't know me really close, you didn't know it existed. And I had a buddy of mine who called me from Georgia. And he's like, hey, I just got done looking on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. I'm trying to show, I heard a rumor that you had an orange Lambo now that you were going to do this marketing thing with. I can't find it anywhere. And because usually guys have all that crap posted and boasting about it. And he's like, I respect that more than if you were leaning against the damn thing on your front cover of your Facebook page. And he's like, why the hell aren't you using it in video? And so it started being used in video more when we figured it out. But one of my fears was I didn't want to expose that I had that. Even though I bought it to use to market our company, I was scared that if I put that out there and a restaurant owner saw, well, this guy's a moron. He's got how many people you know have an orange Lamborghini? Probably none. I'm not work with that guy. And I'm like, that's not why I bought it. I bought it because I wanted to relate to the people from a different standpoint. And so you got to kind of just get over those fears you have and just fucking do it.
Does anyone know how to start a flash mob?
Isn't that where you stand still and then you start dancing?
I've been in one before.
You've been in
Seriously?
one? How does a flash mob start?
The music starts. It's pre-planned, but the
Yeah.
music starts and you know where to be when, and you just start walking through and you hear the beat and you go. You start.
So part of what we teach is understanding that what we're talking about, this short form video, you will be the crazy person that's starting the flash mob. A mall of people, a huge crowd of people, one person dancing. That person looks like they're crazy. What's this person like? Is there even music playing? This person looks nuts. But you're having a great time digging the music, getting into it, and then all of a sudden, 2 people are dancing. 2 people start dancing. Now 3 people start dancing. By posting these videos every single day about your business, you're starting to build momentum. You're not the only crazy one. You love what you do for work. You love what you do for your business. You love what you do for your clients. You love what you do for your community. More people will buy into that. And eventually, you start to get momentum. And you start to get more people buying in, not just in your village, not just in your community, not just in your city, but literally anyone that has access to the internet. Anyone, globally. I'm here with Matt and his team. If Matt was in Dubai, I would have found him because of the internet. And guess what? I probably would have flown to Dubai to do what we're trying to do now. And hopefully from this presentation, you guys go, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to do what other people are unwilling to do. I am willing to be uncomfortable because that's what it's all about. It's uncomfortable. Your friends are going to make fun of you. Your family's going to make fun of you. Your community will make fun of you, and you will be the crazy person dancing. But after 30 days, after 60 days, after 90 days, some other people, and you'll be surprised at the people that go, oh my God, thank you for doing that. They might not even be customers. They'll just be, thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for what you're doing. You've been entertaining for my day. You've been educational for my day. I mean, I have restaurant owners, friends, that are so fired up that I'm here. And how do they know I'm here? Because I'm posting about it. They literally feel like they're here in Kentucky with me. They feel like they're at America's Best Restaurant. I'm going to take them with me to National Restaurant Association and do the same stuff. Talk to restaurant owners there about the same stuff. Because we believe in it. When I go to Bulgaria, where my wife is from, to her village, I will talk to business owners, restaurant owners that are our friends. I'll say, why are you not on video? Why are you not sharing your story? Do you know what they tell me? It's crazy. In Bulgaria, they're scared that they're going to get on video and that they're going to have too much business. That they're going to sell out of the suits that they sell, and that the 11th and 12th person that comes for that 10 suit inventory, that 11th and 12th person is going to be upset. Like, seriously, that's the fear? Your fear is that it's going to be so successful that you're going to sell out of barbecue? Like, you're going to sell out of suits? Like, that is a great problem to have. You should be posting videos every single day, every second of every day.
It doesn't surprise me. You'd be amazed. I have to sell food on online ordering.
Yeah.
People are like, oh man, I can't take anymore.
I can't take any more orders.
Turn it off.
How do I turn off the sales?
Yeah.
I literally can add an income stream to my business,
I had
to my restaurant.
And it kills me because when you look at the ROIs on that, I'm like, dude,
You have staff. We have staff. We have overhead. We need more sales. You got into the business to sell more stuff. Let the internet help you sell more stuff.
I had a business owner of a pretty decent sized restaurant chain a couple weeks ago say, Matt, why would I change something in my marketing if we're having record weeks? I said, dude, that's, to me, I throw gas on the fire. Because you know what? Record weeks aren't going to last. And if you don't do what matters now, in 6 months you're going to be bitching that something else wasn't out there. And the one thing also I love about this is that I guarantee if you guys go back and look at all of your following, your friends, your competitors, 9.999 out of 10 aren't doing any of this stuff. The minute you start doing it, you separate yourself from the pack bigger than shit. And when you separate yourself from the pack, you start to stand out. And I looked for a quote I had taken a picture of. I guess I couldn't find it, but one of the books I'm reading, the guy talked about how the majority of people in this country are good with the average, the normal. And I was watching a video a couple weeks ago from a movie I was showing one of my team members. It's obviously a stage. It's from a movie, but this kid's, I don't even know what it's from, but he's on his hands and knees at football practice, and he's like, hey, but blindfold you, can you bear crawl to the 50-yard line with him on your back? I don't know, coach. I don't know I can do it. Okay, let's just try it. And then he blindfolds him. Why? I don't want you to know where you're at. Well, he ends up going the whole football field. And it's the same thing with your business. There's a lot of us, I'm cracked up. You know, there was a restaurant down here that closed down in Union about 2 months after the pandemic. And I told the guy 6 months before, I'm like, dude, you're not doing anything. You can't just you can't spend $400,000 on a build out and $250,000 on a franchise and put the sign on the door and open it up. Like, why aren't you on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn and email and text and YouTube? What's the excuse? Oh, everybody's got an excuse. But if you go to, like in our business, this will give you guys some eye-opening. If you go to, it's americasbestrestaurants.com/stats. I'll give you an example where this came from. So in our business, we do a thing called an audit. Now, when somebody, like I had a pizza chain email us yesterday, and they want some marketing advice and have a conversation. Well, we'll have a conversation. After the conversation, we'll do an audit. Do they have a website, which I'm glad we don't have to ask that question anymore, but do they have a mobile-friendly website? We also look on there, do they have online ordering, things like that. Do they use a tool on their website to gather data? Do they use a tool inside their restaurant to gather data? Do they actually ask people? Who in here went to a restaurant recently where somebody said, hey, when's your birthday? What month's your birthday?
Oh, September.
September. We want to give you an amazing birthday gift. Do me a favor. Scan this code. It's going to ask you 3 questions. In a month before your birthday, you're going to get something badass. Have you ever been asked that?
No.
Well, you're not alone, because 97% of restaurants across this country do not ask customers engaging questions to get content. They don't use automation in email text. And 20% of them, it was at 19 the other day, 20% are using social media and getting massive engagement. And the reason we started doing this was I would look and I would advise people, hey, you might not need me. Like, you ever heard of Gary Vee? Well, Gary Vee's right-hand man's dad owns a restaurant up in Martha's Vineyard. And he had called me for marketing advice. I looked at his shit and said, bro, you don't need us. This was a couple years ago. I'm like, you're doing everything already. we could help you a little, but I don't think we would be throwing gas on the fire. You're already cracking logs on there. And so when I started doing this was to understand. So a long time ago, this was just an individual survey. Well, then one of our employees back in December said, hey, why don't we put those together and see the actual full stats, the full picture? So now all of our team asked questions. Like that 20% was 19% for a month. So that means that apparently we had more people that we surveyed, that we were talking to, that were actually getting engagement. So it bumped it 1%. But the reason I show you this is that this right here means that 80% of restaurants are doing a shitty job at marketing their business. It's not just restaurants. Right. It's home improvement companies, it's carpet companies, it's churches, it's everything. 97% of people, when they walk inside a restaurant, are not engaged and ask for their information. Who's the most important person that walks in your restaurant? Or that walks in your restaurant, right? They're in there. They drove. If they're a brand new customer, they got directions. They drove. They walked inside. They ordered. They gave you a credit card. They sat down. They ate. And 97% of restaurants completely ignore that person.
I was listening to Gary Vee. It's been a while, but it was about a restaurant, might be the one you're talking about. But a first-time guest gets different colored napkins.
Yeah, I was him and John Taffer. Yeah.
Accuse the manager to go over and give them a free dessert next time they're in.
Yep.
And there's like 3 or 4 stages of this to get the customer back every time.
Yeah, but the reason I tell you that is that has nothing to do with video storytelling, but it has to tell you about what actions people are not taking.
Yep.
Your competitors are not taking any of these actions. You can literally get on your phone today and go through and scroll through everybody you know in business, your competitors, local. I'm signed up for probably every restaurant's email program in this entire city. 99.9% of them absolutely suck at using email marketing. I follow all of them on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. 85% are just blah, not doing anything.
Has anyone done an unboxing video?
Put my wife in a box and unbox her. Look what I got. Oh.
Unboxing video is the easiest thing. What kind of tools
Your
do you
tools.
use?
Oh.
Got a new hammer drill.
I do feel like I
Yeah,
have
you have.
some of those.
You have.
You have you've done an unboxing video?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
But I do get excited when I get a new tool.
There are things that we use in our business every day. And if I can make a technology video for Toast and for restaurant owners about why we care about Toast and why restaurant owners should care about Toast, then if you have a physical product, or if you sell a service, or if you have a dog walking business, like you have so much content that's there. You have incredible stories that are there. You just have to be willing to use the thing in your pocket that's with you to give access to those stories. You have to
see that you
publish
did an unboxing video of when we sent you some swag?
I did that too, yeah.
I saw that somewhere.
That was on Instagram stories.
So, okay, so it's probably gone.
Did you tag, so when you did that unboxing thing, was it just about driving the bus over Will, or was
That was part of my mastermind.
Sales rep, there's a lot of stories.
Yeah.
Poor guy gets just, but did you tag Toast, or how did that get
Of course.
to Chris?
How did that get to
Your
Chris?
video wasn't that old when it was on our all hands.
Yeah. It got to Chris through LinkedIn.
Okay.
So LinkedIn,
Tag Toast tab is-
oh yeah, absolutely. LinkedIn got tagged. Anybody that was in marketing at Toast got tagged. That's the inner game within the game. Once you actually get to that level, then you can start going after any brand. I mean, literally, I was talking to Verizon. They had a local sales rep reach out to me about our business plan, and I pay for smartphones for all of my managers, and we pay for their phones, and we talk about this stuff. We believe in this stuff, but I'm pitching Verizon. I'm telling him the same thing I told Toast. We're a barbecue media company. You should sponsor our podcast. He's like, you're crazy. What are you talking about? I'm like, you're Verizon. I'm not crazy. Verizon has money. Verizon should be talking to people like me and talking to people like Matt that believe in this media center that we all have in our pocket, because this stuff matters. Like, it's not going backwards. It's only going forwards. Like that grant, I told this story yesterday, but Sam, the cooking guy, I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he owns 4 restaurants. He's become my mentor, my friend. He's the guest that's appeared most on my podcast. He was on YouTube for 7 years, 30,000 followers. 7 years, he only had 30,000 followers. 30,000 is a lot, but now he has 3 million. So his graph is literally just like this Grant Cardone graph. It's like, but we all get better.
Yeah.
Back to that formula I told you, you have to lean in to the quantity plus the speed, plus the consistency will eventually get you quality. You have to be willing to post shitty videos.
Oh, my
Like, are you willing to post shitty videos?
Kill that right now.
And the good thing is, once you get the shitty ones out of the way, the good stuff comes faster. That's what I told a buddy of mine one time. We were talking about it in the sales world. I said, dude, if you suck at calling companies and you call 100 times in a month, okay, you got there. If you call 100 times in a day, you just 30 times quicker got to success. You know, a friend of mine, Billy, told me about 3 years ago, I was running an ad campaign. I had a $10,000 budget for the month on Facebook ads. And he said, typically, when I would build it, I would take $10,000 and I would build a campaign based on 1 month. And I would run it for a couple of days and see what happens. And we would make adjustments. He goes, no, your mindset's wrong. I want you to base the $10,000 on 24 hours. And he said, actually, it was 48 hours. It was 48, but based on 48 hours, because now what it's going to do is it's going to cause your hourly spend to go through the roof. Because instead of 10 grand over a month, it's 10 grand over 2 days. He said, you're going to stop the ad. You're going to adjust your ads after 4 hours. Because now you're going to see which call to action, which page, what worked. You found which ones failed quicker and you found success quicker. So now all of a sudden, yes, you spent $1,000 in 4 hours, which you meant to spend over, 2 days, 2.5 days. But by you spending it quicker, you found the failures quicker and you found success quicker. So then you turn off the shitty ones, you amplify the good one, and now you spend the 10 grand for 30 days. And so it's the same way here. Go and do 30 videos every day for the next 30 days. In a month, you're going to be a hell of a lot better than if you did 5 in the next 30 days.
So the rules, in the olden days, when digital marketing first came out, you were told more
less.
1 tweet a day and 3 Facebook
That's gone.
posts a week. So all that's out.
That's gone.
Nobody
Yeah, that
gives-
was
no one
Do
gi-
as much as you can.
Yeah, no one gives a shit. Like, we all think that if I post 3 times on Instagram, my followers are going to get sick and tired of me posting content. Well, the sooner that I got rid of that fear, like, my friends, they all laughed at me when I first started posting content. Like, they're attorneys, they're in banking, they're hedge fund, like, they're all very successful, and they thought, like, they still think the stuff that I'm posting, like, what's your problem? Why are you on, like, their wives follow me.
What else are you doing?
Yeah, what else are you doing? Like, why aren't you doing it? But now that I'm getting invited to go speak and I'm getting paid trips and we're doing content deals, they're asking me to come talk to their marketing teams. Like,
And the
they have
difference-
hundreds of employees, thousands of employees. They're like, how are you doing it? What are you doing? And it's all back to the same stuff that we talk about all the time. Like, there's no secret to it. The secret is you. The secret is you showing up here. Like, if you weren't curious to come here to improve your business, you're not going to, like, you're already doing stuff that other people aren't willing to do.
The big difference why that was said back then, and we said it too, was that 10 years ago, if you had 1,000 fans on your Facebook page and you made a post, 700-800 of them saw the post. Today, if you have 1,000 Facebook fans, 20 to 30 see the post. Because Facebook has squashed your organic reach. They want you to spend more money. But if you become a better creator and you put better content out, the algorithms find you. And here's a good example. And this isn't to pick on Shawn, because I'm not saying that we have the fucking secret sauce. But like, I look at, he's got 22,000 followers. Matt Plapp, wherever the hell mine's at, is, where'd Instagram go over here? I've got 1,600 followers. This video posted yesterday has 1,800 views. His video posted yesterday has 1,000. He's got 10 times the followers, but I have almost double the views. It's because something about my audience generated that response more than that did. Now he's got this one that got 7,000. That's more in line. So it's all about now traffic is all organic. So one thing I'll say is, like, you think about it. Let's say if Shawn has 22,000 followers and that got 1,000. So let's just, 90% of his fans didn't see it. Or didn't. So if he posts 10 times a day, now all of a sudden he might catch his whole audience. Because with Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, they're not showing it to everybody. So if you only see, if 5% of your audience sees your one post, and if you do 10 posts, you now have a chance of 30% seeing it.
Are they only not seeing it based on timing?
It's-
Or is it an algorithm?
There's an algorithm, and some of it makes sense and some of it doesn't.
Because my wife's thought is morning and evening. You have 2 different type
Oh,
of people.
there's better times. I mean, there's definitely better times because people are on, like, it's kind of comical. You can look at the stats on these pages and you see when people arrive at work. You see when they arrive at work and they're on their phone at 10, 11 in the morning. Then they go to lunch and they're off their phone.
Yeah.
And then they come back to work and they're on their phone 2, 3, 4. Then they get in their car and drive home and they have dinner with the family and they're off the phone. And then 9:30, 10 o'clock, they're back on the phone before they laying in bed or on the sofa. So you can definitely see that. But it comes down to the algorithm. It's weird because we'll have videos that pop. Like we've noticed my videos, for example, do better when it's not showing Matt Plapp. This one with me, 104 views. Me, 109. Me, 159. BJ David, 1,200. It's the beard. And so the context of it is that a lot of my followers have already seen what I'm talking about. They scroll by. Or maybe it doesn't even interest them. The other thing is I tie somebody else in and BJ watches this. And when BJ watches it, him and I might not be connected. The algorithm says, oh, BJ watched it. He's a little different than Matt's followers. Let's show it to BJ's followers. And so there's a lot of things in there. That's why the quantity is important. And that's why I post videos that get 5 people interact. I've got some that got 5,000 people interact. I got some that do better than others. And
Are we ready, Matt?
what?
To make them uncomfortable?
Oh, yeah, let's.
You guys ready?
Sure.
Yep.
Do your first video before?
What's your community involvement? Like locally, here's the old restaurant within 7 miles. What are you doing like locally in your community?
What are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing you didn't miss that. I'm sure you're pretty involved.
What do you, as far what do you mean?
Do you have are you like involved with the local high schools? And
We're involved. Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Old school, everything that you would do old school for a restaurant in your community, in your village, we do. We just do it with this. So literally we go to everything. Like the reason why we learned how to do this kind of stuff was like we would go to a taste of San Diego, East County, 30 local restaurants. And before the event, we were participating in the event. So we were one of 30 restaurants, but we would do a video. Hey, we're going to go be at the Taste of La Mesa. We're going to be there with this pizza brand, this burger shop, this ice cream company, and we're also going to be there. Please stop by and say what's up. We would tag all of those people in our video. We would go there. We would do video at the event, about the event. And then after the event, we'd take photos and post videos about the event. Literally, we were marketing the event better than the actual organizers of the event.
I have one question too, and I think a lot of us are probably asking this question. When the hell do you do barbecue?
I've got a team.
Right.
I've got a
So-
team that does
So
barbecue.
when I left here yesterday, that was my thought is, and I have had somebody that's helped me with my social media, and you brought this up, and I was thinking about you before. You're going to have to hire somebody, I think is the answer. You're going to have help. And honestly, you talking about being uncomfortable, that person I hired pushed me into the uncomfortable zone. So it made a difference for me.
And sometimes
Yeah.
uncomfortable zone is spending money.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's funny. I'll have people
Yep.
tell me I can't afford that. I had a restaurant recently. It was like, oh, I couldn't afford to spend $2,000 a month on this, that, and the other. I'm like, you're wasting your bandwidth. You're wasting those 3 part-time employees who are below average at doing that. You're wasting money on these 5 tech items you don't use correctly. You would honestly you would make more money and spend less actually outsourcing it or hiring somebody. That was my first thing when I hired Ashley. I was scared to have employees because I had the employees at the boat dealership. I didn't want to have employees. I was going to be a one-man consulting thing in the marketing world back in 2008. And 2 years later, I realized, okay, I got to hire somebody. And I hired Ashley. And then now here we are. There's 1 billion people, it seems like. But what I've come comfortable with is I understand that when I can spend money to get Matt Plapp out of the way and do more of it, that's why my content's gotten so much is that, Max and Logan and David, there's 5, 6 people that help me create content that I spend more on my team that helps me produce content than our average client spends on marketing in a month. And I'm smaller than half our restaurant clients because I'm not looking now. Like Max sitting there with the camera doing this and the cost, I'm not making money today or tomorrow from Max. I'm making money today or in 2 years from Max. And so like the biggest thing, everybody, $500, $1,000. Oh my God, a guy the other day, I could never spend $12,000 a year. I go, dude, your business does $500,000. If you can't carve out $12,000 a year to give you the ability to do $650, then you're looking at it wrong. And that's how a lot of people have a problem doing it. So there's always people that you can find that you might not realize can help you with the business. And so that's a big element is finding those people. And there's also, I know people in the marketing world that are professionals that have, like Matt Plapp. My first clients 15 years ago were $600 a month. Brennan Scanlon for when we did B&I's marketing, when I did Scanlon Associates, when I did Adam Perkins from Masterpiece Audio Video, when I did Better Bodies in Silver Lake, my package was $600 a month because it was just me. I went out and got 30 companies to give me $600 a month. I was happy with what I was making for a living. And we delivered a pretty cool product. There's plenty of opportunity out there, but that speed is a key element. That if Tim Eichhoff can go, oh my God, just ran across this. Look at this new thing going up in Boone County, blah, 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 blah. See you later, boom. Take it, text it to somebody, and they know that their job is to make sure that hits 7 platforms over the next week. It's pretty easy.
So in the line of storytelling, my father-in-law told me years ago when we built our house, I was looking to cut corners. How can I save some money? And one of the things was, we'll paint. He says, listen, can you work overtime to pay for that? I go, absolutely. He goes, they're professionals. Don't bother.
Yeah.
And this guy was cheaper than I don't know what. I mean, he could squeeze a nickel and pull out a quarter. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where that's the approach I take on this. If I can spend $500 and save, in most cases, save myself $1,000 worth of headache, it's money well spent.
I mean, we're a full-service marketing firm.
Yeah.
You know.
We're a full-service marketing firm, yet I pay a marketing company out of Nova Scotia to do a handful of things that we could all do. Why? He's better. And I'm like, why bog down my team with doing some of these things that Andrew is better at? I could probably do half of them, but my time's worth way more. That's the one thing I love about entrepreneurs. We all get stuck doing stuff. I'll never forget about 8-9 years ago, I had this lady for $125 a month. Is Chris in here? There he is. So I had a lady, Chris will appreciate it. I had this lady about 8-9 years ago. I met through B&I. $125 a month was doing my bookkeeping. Every month would take all of my stuff, make it all tidy. End of the year, she would hand Scott Mail off the things. He'd gone away. We bought out our partner at our gym we had. Me and Casey bought out Dwayne. He was in charge of the QuickBooks. First month we bought him out. I'm like, I'll do the QuickBooks. I'm like, oh, shit's easy. I got rid of $125. Now, granted, I'm making about $250,000 a year myself then. I got rid of a lady, like $125, I got this shit. 8 months later, Scott's like, Matt, you've not reconciled in 9 months, in like 8 months. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get to it. What happened to her? I'm like, I think it was Christiana was her name. I said, I got rid of her. I didn't, 120, like you waste that on Red Bull every week. I'm like, yeah, I know. And then I ended up hiring somebody else for $1,000 because I got to a point where I was literally like 3 years behind at one point on all this ancillary bullshit. And it was causing, Scott's like, you realize you just paid me $3,500 more to do something that somebody could have did for this because you got cheap. And as entrepreneurs, we tend to think, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. I literally am proud to say at this point, for the most part, I don't do anything except what I'm fucking good at. I've got a guy, like I'll occasionally wash a car, but for the most part, if I want my car actually washed, I'll call Chase. Say, Chase, come by the office, wash my car. I'm going to bring my car to your house. I'll pick it up in 2 days. He does a better job. He cost me $600, but you know what? Matt Plapp's time in 5 hours, that's pretty easy to make for me. And all of us are like that. I mean, everybody in this room, you is Mandy, right? Yeah. Mandy, the handy lady. You could spend time doing certain things. Like the only person that can create the content's you. Yeah. The only person that can get on this camera and say this is Boom. But if you can find somebody for $500, $1,000, $2,000 and say, hey, every time I send you this is what needs to happen. This is your distribution plan. Logan has a sheet that has all these boxes he checks off every day. TikTok, Facebook, Stories, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. He has all these boxes he checks off whenever a piece of content comes his way. If you can have that person, it allows you to be faster. It allows you not to worry about it. And guess what? Be willing to accept when they make mistakes. We have mistakes happen all the time in the content we put out. I had somebody the other day like, hey, you did your versus your. I'm like, I don't care.
You want to hear a funny story?
What?
So the video that I posted with your Lamborghini.
Oh yeah, you called it a Ferrari.
I called it a Ferrari on Facebook, and I got a text from my general manager that said somebody texted the restaurant and said, tell Shawn that's not a Ferrari. He's going to want to remove that so that he doesn't get made fun of. And my general manager, no bullshit, he said,
I saw that somewhere. Where did I see that at?
It was on Facebook Reels. He said, no, he said, respond in the comments that that's a Ferrari. It says, he'll probably get more engagement that way. You should call him out in the comments. He loves controversy. Yo, might want to tell Shawn that video he posted of Rosie getting in the car. He hashtag Ferrari. That's a Lamborghini. I didn't want to call him out in the comments, and I don't have his number. The world moves on. Like our fear of what's going to go.
Ferrari Corvette.
Our fear of what's going to happen. Matt's going to make fun of me. The internet's going to make fun of, like, no one gives a shit. That's one person that saw it. And my general manager, my right hand, my business partner, he knows because we do video. Like, we do video all the time, and he's exactly right. Like, all that matters. And I interviewed a guy, Kyle and Sarah, who's on TikTok. He does commercial real estate. He's a restaurant consultant. He literally got a multi-million-dollar listing because of his pit bull that he posted on TikTok. A landlord goes, I picked you because I love pit bulls too. Or French bulldog, sorry, Kyle, if you see this on the internet. It's a Ferrari, not a Lamborghini, or a Lamborghini Ferrari. Whatever, the internet will hold you accountable, but nonetheless, the story and the principles are the same. Like, we will make mistakes. We are human. We are in a human business. We're making content. Like, all of our greatest fears, what's going to happen?
Here's the funny thing.
No, absolutely not.
So I want to show you this video.
I had a friend that did it. Go ahead.
Show you this video. So this video on
Absolutely
TikTok
not. I don't take anything down.
for Aaron is up to like 400,000 views. This was posted a week ago.
You want to change the moment you buy your house. Your door locks go first. The next thing you want to change is your garage door code. A lot of people have that garage door code. Make sure you change that. Smoke detector batteries come next on the list. Then you got two types of filters. You've got your furnace filter, and then you've got your refrigerator water filter. You want to make sure you change those. And lastly, number 6, change the toilet seats in your house. You've got no idea how many people have been on those toilet seats. It's going to give you peace of mind.
So he made that video. It's on TikTok right now at 48,500 likes, 143 comments, and almost 500,000 views. The comments, if you change the toilet seats, and you better never use a public restroom. I could care less about toilet seats. Don't forget about light bulb fluid.
I love when people
Let's see. I mean,
about it.
all sorts of people are concerned. Why don't you just clean them? And then so Aaron went back and responded, like, yeah, maybe I could just clean them. I don't know. But he literally, that video is at right now 465,800 views. And it's gotten, between likes and comments, almost 49,000.
So is it true, I'm trying to learn all this stuff, that the more people that comment, negative or not,
Yes.
Yeah.
helps the video be seen
At
more?
100%.
$100%.
If you respond,
Because
Engagement shows then
it's
people are
engagement.
interested.
Yeah.
and if you respond to the comments,
Yeah.
like liking and then
Yeah.
commenting back.
And then here's a comment on that too, and this is important. I try to do this my best, and a lot of people miss this. Imagine you and I are walking down the hallway, and you walk by me and go, Matt, love that shirt. And I just keep walking. What do you think? What a dick. Well, look at social media. Look at most businesses. People get on Yelp and say, great restaurant, had an awesome meal. Susie, the server, was a rock star. Thank you. And the owners ignore it. But when somebody gets on there and says, this place sucks, worst sandwich ever, they're so concerned to comment on the negative. You should comment on all.
Yes.
Somebody comments on Facebook. I had a guy the other day tell me said some comment. And I'm like, hey, I appreciate that. Called me some vulgar name. I'm like, hey, I appreciate that. I haven't been called that one before. But I get on there and comment. And so I use that example that you wouldn't, if somebody walked by your business and said, hey, Aaron, man, we appreciate the great floors. This has really helped our house. You wouldn't just go, you would be like, thank you, would engage them. We'll do the same on all the social media platforms, on all the review platforms. You know, Shawn replies to all the, used to all the Yelps back in the day.
Every single Yelp review we respond to. The first 1,600 I responded to, Google reviews, Facebook comments. I mean, there's so many different platforms, but it goes back to the truth, and that's sharing your truth and giving people access to who you are, what you do, why you do it. You know, if you think about where you were in your business 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, or 5 years ago, and what you've learned. Like, what if there was a video out there that you found that saved you $1,000, $10,000, or a terrible mistake, or a terrible business deal, or a terrible partnership? Like, wouldn't you want to see that video? Like, you have all this knowledge of what you've learned. You're just not sharing it. It's like, I never post. Every single employee that we get now, guess how they find us? Not on Craigslist, not through a newspaper ad, not through Indeed. Their mom, their uncle, their cousin, their neighbor, they see my Facebook post, Cali BBQ's Facebook post, our LinkedIn page. They literally see our content. And we make it fun. I'll put up a sign that says we're hiring. I'll stand on the top of our restaurant. I'll go to the airport with the sign, and my wife will grab my camera, and I'll be, when the airplane comes down, it's me saying we're hiring.
Tim,
it's not for the people in the plane. It's for the internet.
How did Logan find this job?
Social media. You posted.
Max, how'd you find this job? Doug's sister, who starts next week, found this job. Social media. 9 out of 10 of my employees we have now come from the content. And I actually had recently, and I haven't figured out how to fix this one, I had a person from one of our clients come to us recently and wants to come work for us. So I don't know how to bridge the gap of hiring somebody from a client that's in that position there, because he would be awesome to our team. But he wants to come. His comment is, I love what you're doing. We chronicle everything. I say stupid, inappropriate D's nuts jokes. They put it on video. We play ping pong. We had a basketball game the other day. We actually have a crowd. In the other side, we have a Nerf basketball court that we play one-on-one and 21 with. The wall is cracked now because we put Ryan Likes into the wall head first. Like, we put that stuff out there. We show people we're a little different. We're going to Gatlinburg next week. I think there's 9 or 10 of us going to Gatlinburg. There will more than likely be some crazy-ass go-kart wrecks on there. Like, Deb's going to get dominated by me. You don't think so? You give me a look? Okay. But we put the story out there. When I put a job posting up, I get massive replies. I don't put them anywhere else except for digital media. I don't put them on Indeed. I haven't used a job hiring site because I don't want those people. I want somebody who I know, like, and trust kid that he can say, Matt's the guy you need to be with. That's how Max found me. That's how, like, probably I bet 9 out of 10 of our last employees. Lisa, how'd you find this place? Oh. Yeah, I made a post and Bridget made a post on Facebook, and Bridget. I mean, I've had 3 people apply in the last month that know Lisa when she shares stuff. So, I mean, your story makes you look different. You know, there's a reason you walk into a chain fast food restaurant and you feel you're a number. You walk up, I'll have this. Here's the 3 questions that happen at every restaurant in most businesses. How are you doing? Do you actually give a shit how I'm doing? No, let's be honest. I don't care how you don't. What do you want? And give me your money. That's it. And that's why there's no connection. Whereas if I walked in and I'm like, Patrick, what's up, man? How's Cole? Like, there's a connection. And so that's why, and that story only comes from telling your, like, people only know it.
Well, that's the way I feel about Sam.
Yeah.
I feel like I know him.
You feel like you know him.
Max.
Yeah.
And Chance, I know all 3 of them.
I'll give you a funny story about that. So Triton Bass Boats was a bass boat line that we sold in the boat dealership days. And Earl Bentz was the owner and founder of Triton Bass Boats. And in those worlds, just like you can't buy a car from Chevy, you legally can't buy boats from the factory. But there was these backwoods, smaller mom and pop boat manufacturers like Bullitt in Tennessee that supposedly you could buy a boat from the factory. It was cheaper. This guy walks in our boat dealership and goes, hey, I want to buy a boat from you guys, but I'm friends with Earl. I could probably buy the Triton from the factory and get it cheaper. Well, we were the number 3 dealership in Triton. I knew it was bullshit. You couldn't legally do it. And we knew Earl real well because we paid him a lot of money and from being a customer. And so I'm like, oh, you know Earl? How? So he goes on to tell me this long, drawn-out story. And what it comes down to is he was at the Bassmaster Classic, and Earl walked by the gate and waved and did a point. But the cool part is this guy was buying a Triton because of that point. People love to go into a business. I know BJ. The reason I use Mello to clean my windows, and we got to get these done, by the way, and the reason I use it is because I know BJ. Not because of Mello. I mean, they do a great fucking job, but it's because, first and foremost, I know BJ. I know him from when I was a kid. The reason I eat at certain restaurants is because I know the owner. How many times you get people walk? I guarantee you walk in right now at Cali BBQ like, yeah, I know Shawn.
Yep.
All the time.
All the time.
They don't know him.
I'll do that.
My man.
When I go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The best one ever with me, Brennan Scanlon and I, We're at a Chamber of Commerce. This to stand up. I'll show you this. So Brennan and I are talking, and Brennan was massive networker, so he always had to stand in this situation, so that it was opening up for a third person. We're sitting there talking. This guy walks up and he goes,
"It's a good tip right there."
So I'm trying to get my wife to stand that way. No, I'm just kidding. So he walked. See, I told you.
Eastern European women will not be down with that.
He walks up and he goes.
She'll cut the brakes of your Lamborghini.
He starts talking to us, and no shit, not prompted. He goes, "I'm really good friends with Matt Plapp." I look at the guy, and I figured Brennan screw with me. And the guy talks to us for like 5 minutes and then leaves. And I go, "Yeah, funny, jackass." He goes, "What? Who was that?" I go, "I thought you knew him." Because he said he was best friends with you. I go, "I don't know if I feel more sorry that he's name dropping me, that's his go-to, or that he's name dropping me to me." Because I got no clue the guy was. But that was this guy's thing. And so that's also the biggest thing with video is that it makes like you become something. I spoke for Cisco in South Carolina like 4 or 5 months ago. I took like 20 selfies. Like people, "Matt, I got your book." One guy brought my books he had bought on Amazon the prior 6 months and read them and wanted to get a selfie. I'm like, "Man, I feel sorry for you. Like, this is your moment? There's got to be somebody cooler here." But that was him. And by the way, he's a client. Things are easier in business when you have that. This guy has listened to my podcast. He's read all my books. He came to the South Carolina Restaurant Lodging Association show to see me speak. Granted, he's a restaurant in South Carolina. That's why he went. And then afterwards, he's like, "How do I do business with you? I know what you guys do. We desperately need it. We can do a little bit, but you guys are way more competent." I handed it off to one of my sales guys. He became a client. His restaurant is killing it what we do. The only reason that happened was by me making the decision to get my face out there and my voice out there. If I didn't do any of that, he never sees me on podcasts. He never hears me on audio. He never buys my books. He never builds more trust. And that's the differentiator. The differentiator between people doing more mortgages with you, having handy lady work done, having their dog boarded, getting carpet, buying radio advertising, eating food, using toast. What do you do? Being complicated. Being complicated.
We're going to start the 60-second. That's happening.
The difference between of that, the difference between how easy or hard that is by how much they know, like, and trust you. And it's a lot easier to become friends with somebody that you follow and know, like, and trust online than it is a fucking ghost.
It's all about reps.
Yes, sir.
It's all about reps.
I have a lot of questions, but my wife would kill me probably if I did anything like this, just because of our friends and all.
Do you have life
and the
insurance?
judgment? And the judgment?
Yeah, and the judgment.
Yeah.
So I totally connect with that. One of my questions was, do I do professional or personal accounts if I create all these accounts?
What kind of business do you have?
That's the other thing is it's not sexy. So it's a restoration company, water, mold, rebuilds. So how do I get creative enough for that content?
I feel like people love that stuff. That was like
Or before and afters.
Surf Pro. We used to do some consulting for a Surf Pro franchise locally. I don't know if you know Wayne Hartke and them. And one of the things I used to tell them, they would do these big jobs and they would post pictures afterwards. I'm like, I want to see Newport's field when it's 2 feet underwater.
Yeah.
And I want to see the most coolest thing I like watching is the pressure spraying videos. You see the dirt go away, I'm like, whoa. Like there's all sorts of things you can do. And what you think isn't sexy to you is sexy to somebody else, or it's intriguing.
Yeah.
Because it's an oh shit moment, right? Like whenever they call you, it's oh shit. Shit's hit the fan. But like, what does that look like? Like, show us what that looks like and show us how you become.
And that's trying to get, because I'm not the one that's always responds.
Correct.
Get my tech.
Correct.
To do something or even to think with all the other type of stuff that I used to do.
Correct.
Well, that gets back to what Shawn said though about he inspires his team to do that by doing it.
Empowering them to know that it's okay. So like at one point in our restaurant, we had a social media policy that I got from the internet and was, do this, don't do this, make sure you don't post. And it was all out of fear. It was all these rules about what you can and can't post. Our social media policy now is be social and post about it. I don't care what you post. Like, this is your life. If you're working for us and our brand, like, show it off. Obviously, if you're taking care of a customer, I don't want you to be on your phone because that's hospitality in real life. If I sat up here and was on my phone the whole time posting content and not engaging with you, that would be pretty rude. But other than that, like, I'm going to post about it. They're getting video of it. We're going to post about it afterwards. It's show the story.
I wanted to find a video for you to show you how wrong you are, because where you're sitting has been underwater twice in the past year. There's a pipe issue out there that we got to get fixed, and it's backed up water.
You showed me your canal you built.
Yeah, I built a canal. You can go out back and see my landscaping abilities. You want to see it? Because I actually just took my SUV and drove a trench into the ground, and we now have water drainage better. But
is that a good use of your time, spending that digging the...
I didn't dig it. I drove that motherfucker, and my son dug it. So
well, there you go. That's better
the
labor cost.
reason I tell you that is that this flood happened, and our alarm set off and let me know. I didn't know we had an alarm for that. I came to the office. I look, it's like water. I call the guy. I'm like, what does this mean? He goes, go to your basement. I'm like, okay. So I come down here, and there's water in the conference room. And then eventually I called Greg, who's a guy that I know, who's a company we do consulting with, who also owns a Pure Clean franchise. So I'm guessing similar stuff as you guys. And he was here within 2 hours. I was live video on it, having fun with it. Like, hey, look, we got a pool. We got a swimming pool now. And I was doing content. I'm like, Greg, what are we going to do? And he's setting fans up. They're sucking stuff. And I was just down here having fun with it. One, it turned out the good content for me because I actually had people call me and go, dude, how do you have such a good mindset? Like, I would be so pissed that the building I just bought for $1 million plus and put money into had that. He's like, you're down there kicking water around, talking about putting a pool in. I'm like, I don't really give a shit. And plus, I thought it'd be pretty funny. And so, like, that's content that he could have been doing. Hey, it's Greg. Matt called. We were here within an hour. Shit's about to hit the fan down here. I'm going to put the phone over here. Watch me clean this place. And now it's going to be like, oh, I didn't know they did that. And then you could talk about different, hey, Matt, how did you know about this? My alarm. Man, that's pretty cool. Let's go get your alarm guy. Hey, alarm guy, why did you hook up water to that? Well, we hook it up to this, hook it to that. He had all these, there's so many stories that you don't realize. The only way you find the stories is by starting to tell them. 90% of the content that I talk about today was only discovered because I started doing it wrong 5, 6, 7 years ago. And it's just the facts. And the cool part about it is that they always say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The best time to plant it, second best time is today. Is when I do most of these presentations or I speak to people or even consult, 9 out of 10 people just take notes and never do anything, which is cool because in the marketing world, that's why we dominate. And in 2 or 3 years, we'll be a $60 to $80 million company, while most companies that do what we do are doing $200,000. Because they never take action. When they never take action, they never learn. When they never learn, they never get better. When they never get better, they never become experts. Also, will help you with speaking. Like when I asked you, you said it's complicated. It shouldn't be complicated. You should be like, boom. I do this, 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 and this is why you should talk to me.
Yep.
And it happens easier with video. If you're saying, Matt, what do you do? I'm the CEO of America's Best Restaurants. We help restaurants attract attention, build a database from that attention, and retain those customers so they have continuous sales over and over and over. Long story short, we help them own their phones. That came up from doing thousands of videos. Because I was in the same place before. Like my dad's a sales coach on that. What's your 60 second? What's your 15 second? What's your tagline? I'm like, I'm your son? No.
You guys ready to do your video?
Do a video, then eat some food. We have food that was catered over here. So we got food for you. Who wants to do a video?
I'll do one.
Let's go. David and Aaron. David, you're first.
So switch. So give Aaron. What was your name? Mandy. Mandy gets your phone. Handy Mandy. I love it.
I accidentally started a business about 6 months ago.
There you go. See? Look at that. She's getting ready.
Do a video on how you're going to tell the story next week on Allie's Walkabout that a lot of you probably don't know that's going to blow
I'll
you.
tell you the video I'm going to do.
There you go.
Good one with Mandy.
Okay. It's even better.
Hey everybody, I'm here with Mandy, Handy Mandy. She is currently doing some work, Tuffy. She's currently doing some work at my house. She and her husband Rich have done a great job. And she's been in business now just a few months, but it all started from accident. So tell everybody exactly how you got in business.
So I do a lot of renos on my own house and family members' houses, and I just kept posting about it, and then people asked me, hey, can you help me with this? And now I'm busier than one person should be.
So if you need a backsplash done, if you need
Flooring,
bathroom remodel,
painting.
things like that, painting, give Mandy a call. If you don't have, what's your phone number?
419-566-0060. Text me.
All right, thanks, Mandy.
Here's the cool part. It's the same way as a referral with BNI. What's going to happen when I give you 20 referrals? You're eventually going to go, I got to reciprocate. Same way there.
Or I'm going to say you need to stop.
Yeah. Yeah. So next thing that's going to happen is she's going to see that video and she's going to share it. And people that see it are like, who's David Clegg? And they're going to click, go, oh, that's the guy from Allie's Walkabout. It's the concept of it. The content doesn't always have to be about you. It has to be about the people that are around you. And you're going to relate with women. Like my wife would relate to you better than a dude that does handyman work. And so she would see it and like it. And then she's a dog person. Oh, well, we got to take the dogs there. I mean, it's a circle.
Right.
Excellent job, David.
He's
That's
really good at networking, like the BNI stuff.
Aaron, you're next.
Okay. Am I just taking a video of myself?
Do a video.
Okay.
Will you hold the video? Will you hold her phone for her?
I am not good like this, but yeah, either.
That was a
I
high
don't
bar
even know
to
where the
set.
video button is on my phone.
Oh.
That's it.
There we go.
You're going to admit that in front of these
Okay, well, I'm gonna flip it around because this is, there you go.
Reaction videos work well on TikTok.
Hey, everybody, Aaron Slaughter.
Wait.
Oh, directing. I like
I
it.
do.
All right, ready? And hey, everybody, Aaron Slaughter with Mellis Services. I am your in-home flooring and painting consultant designer, and I'm here today learning how to do storytelling.
Woo! Woo!
So this is my first video, and thanks for watching.
There you go.
That was awesome.
All right.
See, and the cool part also, when you start doing these, I'm my biggest viewer of my podcast. I watch every one of my podcasts. Why? I want to pick up on things. I was watching stuff the other day, and I'm like, man, I say the word so a lot. My wife watched a handful and said, stop touching your face. And so that when you do content like that, watch it. Watch it 5 times after it's posted. Never delete. Watch it 5 times and say, what could I have done better? What would have made that better? What would have been funner? Now, I'll say this. The one thing that women have an advantage over men is that a guy won't stop a timeline and look at a dude talking. A woman might, but a guy will stop and look at a female talking on social media, and a woman will stop and go, oh my God, I love her frames. I love her hair. I love her bangs. So you've got best of both worlds. And so
I would stop and watch you when I would do makeup videos. And I'm like,
dudes would?
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a problem. We had a problem at our gym about 3 years ago. Our gym does a thing. They did it last month called Wine and Wad, where all the ladies get together. They do a workout at like 10 o'clock at night and wine. Well, I happen to be an admin on the Facebook page, and still I am, but back then, and my phone back then starts going off. I look. For whatever reason, somebody over in India picked up on this live video they were doing at the gym of a bunch of women working out, Wine and Wad. And it's like every dude over there, I'm talking hundreds, commenting, what's your name? What's your number? I'll come work out. I'll work you out. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm trying to delete. Yeah. But it got a lot of views. So,
Scott, are you ready for your video? Yeah. We gotta get you on camera. Let's go.
get it.
You
me
came all the way
singing,
from
"Oh,
Canada.
Oh, Canada. Scott's one of our team members from Canada.
Scott onboarded our barbecue restaurant.
Yeah, so tell the story, Scott, with Shawn.
Let's go.
All right, 3, let's start.
I don't know that
Your story.
yours.
Yeah. Why are you here? Why are you here today?
All right,
What are you doing?
2, 1.
So why am I here today? I'm here to see Shawn and Matt talk about how to tell your story with your phones. You can own your phones. You can show up in more people's feeds, more people's timelines, and so you actually dominate and just get more attention because money follows attention. And if you want repeat customers, you want more customers to come and actually find you, then you want to be owning people's phones. You want to show up on the feeds, and you want to make sure that you're taking massive action to always be there, so you can stack attention with multiple posts every day, all day. And that sort of things. That's what we're learning today, learning how to tell stories with video, especially short form video. It's where we want to go. Keep on practicing, keep on working out. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We're happy to help you with any questions you may have.
There we go.
Nice.
Look at that.
Good.
Canada.
Now I'll say this, one of the reasons Scott's good at video, and he doesn't do a lot of video that I've seen, except for he does it for our clients. He does Loom videos for clients teaching. He does video Zoom conference calls all the time, and he's been hammered in with the shit that I say, so he knows it, and he lives it. It's awesome. We're ready to eat some food.
We're ready to eat
Let's
some
do this.
food.
Let's end. Let's eat some food, and if you got questions, we'll be here. Let's talk business.